is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight, this is It Builds Character. I don't know, my intro's off already. Off to a great start. My name is Ted, this channel is Nerd Immersion, and we're going to be doing some It Builds Character tonight. Sorry about the crazy fluctuations of It Builds Character recently. It has been, as I've stated before, it is a show that I run just for me, so it's the easiest one for me to cancel if I need to cancel something. And work has been a nightmare lately, and I have all of that plus prepping for D&D Live next week. And trying to build a full-blown costume between now and then. So, this is It Builds Character. This is a show where I take pop culture characters that you, the fans, suggest. I do my best to build them as 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons characters. Quick rundown, as we do at the start of every episode. Characters are built at level 12 to ensure they have some cool things they can do, as most characters do have cool things they can do. They are built using the standard array stats, which is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. This is to give everyone a standard basis to go off of, so that all the characters are, in a theory, created equal with a standard set of stats to build off of. That also means that, with the exception of the potential homebrewed magic items that you will see later on in most of these, you can play one of these characters yourself with minimal to no tweaking on your end or the DM's part. And in some cases, you'd even be able to play these in Adventure League organized play games. As I stated there kind of briefly, I try to do the minimal amount of homebrew that I can possibly do, and that way the characters can be easily built without, again, having to beg and plead to your DM or try to convince them one way or another. So, again, feel free. By all means, I want to throw it out there that I am not saying that standard array is the only way to build characters as far as ability scores go. Again, you could also do point buy, but in the attempt to try to keep these episodes to an hour or less, point buy just adds another level of complexity that makes things just take a little bit longer. So standard array is the way to go. Again, I am familiar that a lot of these characters are level 20 characters or beyond, or don't really fit into the structure of Dungeons & Dragons, but that's where the fun comes in of trying to figure out how to do that. So, tonight I will be Corvo from the video game series Dishonored. So we are going to jump into that in just a sec here. I did have a couple announcements that I'll throw up here in the Twitch chat, which is, there are links if you're watching on YouTube at a later point. There are links to the sponsorships in the video description. But we're sponsored by Initiative Coffee Company. You can use our coupon code to get a little bit off there. And we're also sponsored by Elderwood Academy. And we have an affiliate link that if you decide to purchase anything from the lovely folks at Elderwood, a portion of that comes back to Nerd Immersion, and then that helps to foster future relationships with Quentin and Dan at Elderwood. So, those are our two sponsors. I did want to say there will not be an It Builds Character next week, as I have to provide a training for work from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m., and I will not be able to make it back in time for 10 p.m. To do the show, and I also will be going to sleep so I can get up to take an 8:45 flight to LA for the event. So that is that. Okay, let us jump into the build of Corvo from Dishonored. I am building these characters in D&D Beyond. You can obviously do these on paper, and I do export the character sheets at the end of the session and drop them in a Google Drive folder so you can go ahead and download them for yourself if you like to see. And again, I try to do minimal homebrew with the exception of magic items. I try to keep the races and classes as standard as possible. So let us jump over to this. Here we are on D&D Beyond. You can see I've started to set up Corvo. I didn't do too much ahead of time. I just chose human as his base race. And I'll be the first to say, I don't want to, I'm familiar with the Dishonored series in that I've I'm familiar pop culturally with it. Have I actually played through them all? No, I have not. It just came out in a time frame where I had too much other stuff going on, so I never got a chance to play it. That being said, I do heavily encourage you to come out in the chat, whether you're here live with us right now, or if you're watching on YouTube and want to come out at a later point, come hang out and let's build the character together. That's the fun of these things. Sometimes the arguments that you make in the chat are enough to sway me away from it. Also, hey Ash, what's going on? Welcome to the chat here for Corvo from Dishonored. So, who is Corvo from Dishonored? Long story short, we are taking a character that is essentially a badass sneaky dude who's got a lot of focus on stealth, has a lot of really good swordmanship skills and things of that nature, but also has a lot of cool gadgetry. I mean, the mask is probably one of the most notable things, I would say. It's on the front cover of the box and everything. So the mask has some cool capabilities, but there are other gadgets as well. There are some futuristic things that I think we're going to probably leave out, like grenades and things of that nature. But there is also a mystical component to Corvo when he gets the Outsider's Mark and he is given supernatural abilities. And from what I can tell, most of those supernatural abilities do seem to link, almost, not gonna say one for one, but are very doable in the world of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. You won't have too much of a stretch to get those abilities here, which is good. So we're starting off with a human, so let's go. Languages we're gonna kind of ignore. We'll jump ahead to ability scores. Again, D&D Beyond has you build the characters the way the Player's Handbook has you build, which is choose a race, choose a class, and then determine your ability scores. I think most of us know that we don't typically do that because we want to know how good we're going to be, so we can decide that. So clearly a high focus on stealth, right? We know that he's got stealth. If you've seen any footage of the game, you've probably seen him leaping off of buildings and like coming down and stabbing and murdering people assassin style. He's good at eavesdropping and gathering information. There's pickpocketing, all roguey things, which leads us to choose dexterity as a main stat. So, I don't want to correlate it directly to Assassin's Creed, but there are Assassin's Creed elements to the game. But he does have some magic capabilities. Now, we could say, oh, the magic comes from a magic item, or a feat, a pseudo feat called the Outsider's Mark, and give him magic abilities associated to that. That I don't think we're going to go with that. Like, give him a homebrew a feat that gives him all of the cool abilities. I feel like that's a little too much of a stretch. So we're clearly leaning towards rogue, I feel like. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. The problem being, there are a couple of good rogue options. So assassin is a clear standout choice. I don't really like Assassin in 5th edition that much. I think it kind of sucks, to be honest with you. Past, like, you have one cool ability to possibly give you an automatic critical hit if you get yourself in that scenario. But other than that, I think Assassin's kind of garbage. So, personal opinion, of course. You could also argue Thief. I wouldn't discount you for saying Thief is also an option that he has. And you could also go with Arcane Trickster and flavor that as your magical abilities. So that could be an interesting build, because we don't do a lot of Arcane Tricksters here on It Builds Character, just because that's not typically how characters work out. So let's take a look at his abilities, his supernatural abilities, and we'll see if we can't correlate those to a D&D thing. So we've got Blink, which is a spell in Dungeons & Dragons. But Blink in Dishonored is basically fast movement speed. That could be rectified in a number of ways with magic items, or certain spells like haste or expeditious retreat, things like that. We've got dark vision, which is not necessarily just seeing the dark, it's seeing other things as well. So some sort of improved vision capability. The ability to summon rat swarms to damage people. The ability to possess rats and small animals, and then eventually people. Again, this could be like a find familiar spell. That could be a suggestion spell or a dominate spell. Bend time is not really a thing we're going to be able to touch into. Slowing down time is very high-level magic in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, so we're not going to have anything really like that. Wind Blast, I mean, there's Gust of Wind, you could flavor Thunder Wave, healing spells or regeneration spells, and then some of them are just mechanics for the games, like brutal animation style, let's see, agility, higher jumps and less damage, and shadow kill, turn unaware foes are turned to ash when killed. So some of those don't really correlate to a Dungeons & Dragons, but a lot of those are rectified, or sorry, not rectified, represented with relatively low-level magical ability. So you could argue Arcane Trickster and get a lot of the ability just from that, and a couple magic items. So, like, that's kind of where I want to go, because I personally don't think it makes sense to do a multi-class rogue and then another class. You could, say, do rogue and take the assassin subclass, and then take some other class with magic, whether it be wizard or sorcerer or warlock. I guess warlock would be the one that makes the most sense, given the way that you're kind of given this mark, and it gives you these capabilities. I feel like that seems warlocky, less definitely not wizard or bard. You could argue sorcerer. The mark could be like a bloodline trait, kind of, but sorcerer is not my favorite class in Dungeons & Dragons, and for a multi-class, you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. So you'd be better with warlock. And I mean, we have 12 levels here, so we could do 8 and 4 if we really wanted to get some flavor in there. But I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys in the chat. What do you think? Do you think Corvo is a rogue warlock multiclass, or do we go with Arcane Trickster rogue and then tweak some stuff with magic items throughout to kind of get that whole ability to use spells? Again, we're going to have some fun things to do when we build magic items with the mask and some of the other gadgets that he's got. He also, I mean, he can use guns and has like a hand crossbow, so that's very roguey. So there's definitely rogue, for sure. It's just how much rogue. And then do we put a ton of points in intelligence to make up for the fact that we'd be doing Arcane Trickster things? That is the true question. Arcane Trickster, alright, you guys making my life easy. Boom, intelligence, max points. Alright, what else are we gonna give him? We're gonna give him some wisdom, some constitution, some strength, and I think we're gonna put charisma at the bottom, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna replicate that in the mask. Is kind of like, not disfiguring, right, but like spooky. People they're put off by the mask. So then we'll go back here, choose our ability scores. We're gonna give ourselves +1 to Dex. Why don't we make no, let's change that up. Let's go here, and we'll go with dexterity, intelligence. We'll give him a feat. We'll give him stealth to start. And what's our feat gonna be? What is our feat gonna be? Part of me is thinking magic initiate to get some more stuff in there. But, could argue tough. Let's see. Definitely argue Warcaster, right? As someone who's casting spells and beating people up. Or we could go something different. Prodigy is usually one I take to like to put on a lot of characters because it gets you extra skills and things like that. Alright, let's see here. We'll go with Magic Initiate Wizard. We'll add some stuff in this way. So we're gonna get some cantrips. Is there a feat for gun proficiency? Technically, no. There's not a standard feat for that. We could make one to grant you firearm proficiency. But we could just give him firearms, in my opinion. I think that that's more than fine. We're gonna give him, for his wizard cantrips here, we're gonna go with, let's see here. I'd go Prestidigitation, because you can never go wrong with Prestidigitation. And we'll go with Minor Illusion. They're never bad to have. And we will choose as our base thing here, let's go with Expeditious Retreat. Okay, we're not worried about language. We're going to go Rogue. Add class. And add 12 levels of Rogue. Jumping right into it. Alright. Proficiencies for our Rogue. We already have Stealth. We gotta add Acrobatics, obviously. Perception. I think we can add Athletics too, honestly. Free running is not just Acrobatics. And let's see here. Sleight of hand for some pickpockety stuff. Clearly, we're gonna have expertise in Stealth. We know that. And Acrobatics. Our roguish archetype is going to be Arcane Trickster Rogue. It's going to give us some spells to choose in a short while here. We're going to go to our... Oh, we're going to add ability score improvements. Got to boost that dex because we need all the dex we can get. That puts us at 18. We get 2 more expertises. We're going to choose Thieves' Tools and Perception. We'll get to that in a second here. Next ability score improvement, we're going to get some more dexterity here. Give us a little bit extra there. Get 2 more ability score improvements. Why don't we boost our intelligence a little bit? We got 1 more fun one that we could do an interesting feat with. What kind of feat can we add here? Make things a little interesting for our boy Corvo here. We could add mobile to get you some extra movement speed. That also kind of fits into that whole blink ability that he's got. Again, we have the option for Warcaster here. Tough, also a solid move. You know what? We don't need to decide on that now. We'll think on that. We'll come back. Ability scores. So, our background, I think we're going to go with Soldier. I feel like Soldier's a pretty good option for our boy Corvo here. Let's go ahead and choose Mobile. Ash, your first one to comment. That means we're going to take your option unless somebody comes up with a better one. And I think Deception is a good one for him. We'll give him dice sets, sure. And let's move forward to our starting equipment. This out of the way here. Alright. Now let's take a look at our guy here. See what we got. Okay. So we have an intelligence of 17, which is unfortunate, but that's how it works out. So we're gonna have to choose some spells here in a little bit. I think we're gonna have only first and second level, which is unfortunate because, well, that's just how it is. So we got some cantrips, some more cantrips we can add in here. I'm gonna give him Encode Thoughts because I like Encode Thoughts a lot as a cantrip. I'm gonna give him Infestation to sort of represent our rat and our swarming type attacks. I think that makes sense. Mage Hand, yeah, he's an Arcane Trickster. He's gonna need it. And then let's see here. I don't know why all the cantrips are listed twice. That's a little weird. Or some of them are listed twice. I don't know why that is. So we've got Encode Thoughts, Infestation, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, and Prestidigitation. We still have one more. I feel like we should do a damagey one. Like, say, Shocking Grasp. I think that's a pretty decent choice. It fits in with some of the more futuristic tech that he's got. Alright, so we've got Expeditious Retreat once a day. What other kind of stuff can we give Corvo to fit into what he's got going on? So... Snare, Shield, Grease, Fog Cloud. Disguise Self, I think, is definitely an option with the mask, although the mask may provide that. Actually, I'm gonna have the mask do that. I think Cause Fear, I feel like that one fits. Let's see here. Oh, we've got Expeditious Retreat already. Detect Magic, yeah, the mask can definitely do things, or Detect Magic. Featherfall, also not bad, given the fact that we're jumping everywhere. We got 5 more spells. So let's see what we can get from second level. Let's see. We saw there was some Possession, so we're gonna go with, I think, Suggestion. There was a Wind Blast, so we're gonna go with Gust of Wind. Let's see here. We could be really silly and choose Dark Vision, because that's actually one of his abilities is called Dark Vision. Visibility, possibly. Magic Weapon. Let's see. See Invisibility. Yeah. I'm giving him Dark Vision. I'm doing it. We've got it there. We might as well add it in. So we got one more. One more spell. Could add Spider Climb. They are sneaky, climbing all over the place. Probably not a bad idea. Levitate. I was gonna say Locate Object, but the heart is a magic item. Alright, I'm going Spider Climb. We gotta add some items in here. You're right, you can never go wrong with Shield, but we're gonna replicate as close as we can to the character. So I think we're still missing... No, we chose the feats. So I think we have more or less everything. Switch has me under Smash Brothers again. Ugh. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it keeps taking me back to Smash Bros. I'll fix it. Thank you, Axel, for the heads up. Why does it always do that to me? Put it to Smash Brothers one time. Put you under Smash Bros all the time. Oh, jeez. Sorry, I'm gonna fix that right now. Alright, well now we're broadcasting under Dungeons and Dragons, not Smash Bros. I mean, I stream Smash Bros. I'm not good enough. I'm good. I'll toot my own horn and say I'm pretty good at Smash Bros. I'm not streaming Smash Brothers consistently good. But I appreciate your candor and your faith in my Smash Brothers ability. Maybe one day I'll bring back Sunday Night Smash, and we can start that again. Alright, so some base level stuff, right? We're gonna add studded leather armor because, let's be real, no one ever wears leather armor. Unless you don't have the money to buy studded leather armor. That's the wrong thing. There we go. Alright, so back in. What do we got? Yeah, a very reasonably D&D-esque character. That's one of the nice benefits of Corvo here. So we've got to think about some items, right? So we've got the mask, which can function as a couple different magic items, right? It can function as Eyes of Minute Seeing and Eyes of the Eagle. That should cover, you know, the ability to zoom in real close and to see long distances. Let's see. It can also, it hides his appearance. Let's see. Yeah, so I think that that's probably what the mask will function as. And then we've got some other kind of gadgets. We've got the heart, which is which is basically just like a legend lore locate object type thing. So that's an option we have. And I don't really think he has anything. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but outside of the mask and the couple magical abilities that we gave him, he doesn't have a ton of like truly specific magic items that we need to go and create. I mean, as we do when we do this every time, we could sit here and nitpick and be like, well, he's this, so he should have this and this and this and this and this. But we're not sitting here to try to build out characters as broken as possible. We're trying to replicate them as close to the source material as we can. Because now this is my new favorite thing. Let's go. I like doing this, where we go and see if anybody created anything. So let's go ahead. Let's see if there's anything. Ah! Spring Razor from Dishonored. Go see what this is. This is a copy of the Spring Razor from the Dishonored games. Upon being triggered by any person moving within melee range of it, dealing 1d8 slashing damage to anyone within 5 feet of it, if the person is aware of it, or a d12 if they are not. So that's interesting. I'm always curious to see what other people come up with. Let's see how balanced they are. Corvo's Collapsy Blade. Here we go, we got another one here. Blade was crafted by an incredibly skilled gnome artisan. The blade is a mirror finish and a rather plain cord-wrapped handle. As an action, the wielder can collapse the blade into an inconspicuous item. Takes a DC 20 investigation check to determine its true purpose. You have a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon. That's it. I don't know why it's very rare, this person says. They also picked the scimitar, which means a rogue wouldn't be able to use it. Interesting. I was just curious to see if somebody would have actually built out the mask. Let's see. Aaron's mask. We have Corvo's mask. No, it was worth a shot. You never know, right? People sometimes do that. So let's create a magic item. Let's create, we'll start with Eyes of minute seeing. We'll call this Corvo's mask. And we'll go over to games, and also go over to magic items over here. Yeah, I agree. We'll make the heart a magic item for sure. Let's go with what are we looking at? Eyes. Eyes of the eagle. And we'll add this in as well. So we've got both of those, and that is, what does that give you? Advantage on perception checks in conditions of clear visibility. Alright, let's see if this is gonna let us add. Oh. I hate some of the, I wish that sometimes it is a jerk. It doesn't let you save things right immediately. Alright. So let's get advantage. Perception. That should do it. What song is this? Oh. Alright, so let's go. Alright, we'll refresh him over here, see if we can add. So, alright. We have his mask added. So that's done. So let's see, what are you guys saying? You're saying the blade is more mechanical. We're saying the heart is definitely something we need to go ahead and create. So let's build the heart then. The heart. I think, is there anything? I guess we could start with a crystal ball, sort of. And then tweak from there. All right, so how's this sound, right? Crystal ball of mind reading. That gives him scrying, ability to scry, and cast detect thoughts. I mean, how much more do we think beyond that? Maybe give him the legend lore spell or the locate object spell as well. Okay. We gave him detect magic, but we can add some other stuff. Let's save this. We'll go down here. We're gonna add legend lore. Add object. We'll just keep the same DC across all of these. 17. We closed out of that. Jump back over to him. We'll add in the heart now that we just came up with that. Which I think is reasonable to call that a legendary thing. Now if we go and look at his spells, we'll have Detect Thoughts, Locate Object, Legend, Lore, and Scrying listed in there. let's see. So, let's follow through with me here. We made him an arcane trickster. We gave him some magic to kind of similar to do as much as the Outsider's Mark type stuff we could do. So we've got that. We added the mask, which lets him zoom in and focus on stuff and that kind of a thing. We added the heart, which is basically a scrying type device with magical sensing capabilities. Am I missing anything else major that he does? Yeah, he's a rogue, so he's gonna be. Oh, we should add just a hand crossbow right onto the list here. Oh. I'm fine with adding a bag of holding. Everybody should have one of those if you're adventuring in the Dungeons and Dragons world. We can add that. So let's see. We've got our couple pieces of equipment. We're an arcane trickster. He does have some feats. He's got mobile as a feat, so we can duck and move in and out of stuff. And we went with a human-based feat of Magic Initiate Wizard to give him a couple other to help represent some of the stuff. So we've got Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, Expeditious Retreat. Magic Initiate I'm okay with dropping if we want to swap for something else. If we think there's a better option. Again, as a rogue, you can see he's got expertise in acrobatics, stealth, perception, thieves' tools. He's got a couple other skills here. We have cunning action, right? So there's additional movement in our dash, disengage, or hide. Sneak attack of 66. We do have mage hand, which we can make invisible to help out with that kind of stuff. We have uncanny dodge and evasion for survivability. If we're hidden and we cast a spell, they have disadvantage. We have reliable talent, so we're going to be pretty damn good at a lot of the stuff that we're doing. Again, we chose some spells. Take Magic. Expeditious Retreat was there from Magic Initiate, but we could drop that if need be. Featherfall, Dark Vision, Gust of Wind, See Invisibility, Spider Climb, Suggestion. We went Infestation as a cantrip to represent kind of the possession / devouring. Devouring Swarm is like swarm of rats or small animals. We're representing with Infestation cantrip. So these runes, these whale runes that you keep talking about, lay that on me. What do we got going on with those? How's that work? Because I'm sure we can definitely try and add something in for sure. I just need to know more about it. So it seems like the runes just boost the capabilities of his, like some of the abilities that he has, they just make them more powerful, if I'm understanding that correctly. Crossbow Expert? I'm fine swapping Magic Initiate for Crossbow Expert. Were you a higher level, I would have given him Haste as a spell, but he's not high enough to get it. Crossbow Expert added. You want to just go with... we want to give him more health or that kind of... Or we could just call like Whalebone Rune and make it like a Stone of Good Luck. It gives you decent benefits to all things, pretty much. So it's a minor... I'm going to say it's a minor. It's pretty powerful, but it's a buff across all things. Which, again, I think is reasonable. So we'll go with Stone Good Luck. Add that. Go down here. We'll customize it and we'll call it Whalebone Runes. Now it'll be renamed here. Still looks like a cat, but it's gonna make him a little bit better overall. And we, again, don't forget that all these abilities that we have here, that all the skills that we're proficient in, we do have reliable talent. So, you know, I mean, he's starting with a minimum stealth of 24 and acrobatics of 24. So you're gonna, in a D&D universe, you're gonna be able to pull off a lot of the free running and sneaking stuff that you see him do in the games if your minimum roll is a 24. You know, and plus you're gonna be able to see super far out and real good up close with the mask. And you're going to be able to use the heart to do some kinds of scrying and detecting and that kind of stuff. You're going to be able to slip in and out of combat pretty easily with your mobile feat. We may actually go over here and swap something for... No, actually, I'm pretty happy with what we chose. Yeah. I don't know. I'll ask you guys. You're my chat army here, helping me determine Corvo's stuff. I mean, I think the stats are pretty decent. You had stated before he doesn't really talk, so charisma being 8 is not bad. Boosted super high dex on par with the character. I mean, as we stated, this is and again, kind of as we were talking at the start of this, if you missed that, this is a point buy character that's level 12, with the exception of things like the whalebone runes is a similar magic item. But you could build this character yourself and replicate basically everything I've done here, with the exception of the magic items like the mask and the heart. But those are magic items. With the except the heart is a little bit different. But the mask is 2 sets of lenses that you could get, and the whalebone runes is just a stone of good luck. So this is a very attainable character in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. And if you say roll for your stats, and you roll very well, you'd be able to even more so replicate him by having higher stats to get more feats. Or if you just went point buy and swap things around to be more in line with the character. This is a very attainable for you to make if you would like to play Corvo from Dishonored in your own D&D game. See. Yeah, I have him down here as a soldier, but we're saying noble. That works too. We can go swap that. Oh, alright, well, let's go back to soldier then. I thought, yeah, I remember it being a soldier, so we'll leave that in there. So yeah, again, not every character needs to be a hair-pulling out argument with the chat as we try to determine what magic items or what spells Doctor Strange has, or how do we replicate insert anime character here from any popular anime series. How do we try to attain anime character protagonist level power as a 12th level character? Which, as we've learned, is not possible unless you're choosing an anime that's a little more grounded. And I say a little more grounded in, like, Rurouni Kenshin being, or you know, other animated shows like, say, Samurai Jack, where the characters are grounded and they don't have chi or ki summoning, channeling abilities, flight, teleportation, they're secretly a god, you know, all that kind of stuff. We can build those. And some are a little fun to stretch and try to design. But Corvo, I think, is attainable. So if you love Dishonored, and you talk to your DM ahead of time and tell him, like, hey, I'd really love to get these couple of simple magic items to replicate these things from the game that I'm trying to play, this is a thing you could do. and I do like that, right? Like, I think we did a pretty good job on our character build of Link. We did way back when. Link, obviously heavy design on the magic items because he's Link, and that's kind of the whole thing of the Legend of Zelda games. You get a ton of cool items that let you do things, but with a couple of those items, or things like that, you could play Link in a Dungeons and Dragons game. That could be really fun. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z characters, yes. Sun Soul Monk for sure. Makes it definitely easier. But there's no way you'll make... Those characters are super fast and super strong and can take a shit ton of damage. They're actually not that intelligent or that wise. So you could probably dump intelligence and wisdom in a lot of cases, except for like maybe Piccolo. I mean, obviously there's other characters as well, but for the most part. Sun Soul Monk, but that would also get really boring to just build Sun Soul Monks over and over again. But there's still things like that make characters unique, right? Like, Sun Soul Monk does a lot, but Sun Soul Monk doesn't have a way to replicate Destructo Discs, does not have a way to replicate a Solar Flare, or like any of the ridiculously stupid things like Spirit Bomb, or things like that. But they're close. So I mean, like, we could build Krillin. That's what I'll say. We could build Krillin probably pretty easy, because Krillin is a human, and we don't have to try to determine what stat boosts a Saiyan gets, because they just get better progressively forever. So there's no way to quantify that even in a homebrew race. Yeah, Sun Souls can't blow away planets. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. Well, we may have a build in the future here, or something to talk about. If you want to link that in the chat. Oh, you haven't released it yet. My bad. Well, there you go, guys. There's an archetype coming out if you really want to get in on all your anime dreams. I will be sure to retweet and post that as soon as it goes live. And feel free to throw that in the Discord, Axel, as soon as that becomes a thing. Oh, it's literally called Protagonist. Well, there you go. So I'm going to throw this up here, and we're going to jump. So again, to showcase to you guys how it works, we just go over here. We hit Export Sheet. And then it's going to go ahead and do that. And if we go over here and you look at it, you can see everything we just did is exported very nicely to a printable version of a character sheet where you two want to have this physically for you to use at your own game. So if you are in a situation where you know you're not going to have internet or things like that, you could build a character in D&D Beyond. And again, I'm not sponsored by D&D Beyond. Not yet, anyway. I love my physical books. Nothing will ever replace those for me. But when you're doing this kind of stuff and running games online and streaming, D&D Beyond is a nice asset to have, especially if you have people who don't really get it and they can just do something like go over here, click on the Actions tab, and say, what can I do as an action? And it lists everything you can do as an action. What can I do as a bonus action? Oh, these things. What about a reaction? Oh, these things. The spell... Uncanny Dodge, Opportunity Attack. Oh, and here's a couple other things I can do. It's useful, and it definitely has expedited how fast I build characters on this show, because it does a lot of the math and the behind-the-scenes things for me. So, yeah. Again, not sponsored, but a good way to do that. So I will take the character sheet that I just exported, and I will drop it over here in this folder where you guys can see all of the other characters that have existed thus far, although I somehow missed number 34, so I'll go drop that one in there. And then if we go to the plan list, we can see how far off I already am on this. So let's go to Season 2. So we are a little behind. So we're going to go ahead and grab all these. We're going to copy them. We're going to shift them down. And, oops, John Constantine goes there. We can go here. Corvo is there. And we just grade this one out. There. Yeah, John Constantine's coming up here. Oh, I missed that. I was right the first time. Because today's the 8th. Silly me. Let's go ahead and move this down. Go ahead and put Samson here. Corvo is here. There we go. I have to put in the link here for Doctor Strange. But yeah, you can see the plan going forward. So we built Corvo today. Next week is a work thing and prep for D&D Live. Then we'll be back after D&D Live is over, building Samson, the biblical hero. And we've got Wargreymon. We got a Digimon here. Some old school anime and Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. Elder God Demon Bait, who I actually have no idea who or what that is, but I'll have to figure that out between now and then. Kirito from Sword Art Online. You can see we can go down the list, right? We got Ben 10, which will be wonky and weird to build. A Bionicle character. We got a Disney character here. We got 2 normal dudes in Bulk and Skull from the Power Rangers. You guys keep throwing out animes that I haven't had time to watch, so there's always fun to try to catch up on those. But hey, Percy Jackson, that's one I know very well, and Cloud, and a Predator, and Dante from Devil May Cry, all good options that I know. I have John Wick here twice. The Norse mythology version of Loki, which is an interesting one, because that's to build a Loki that's not Tom Hiddleston / the Marvel version will be refreshing to me. And then we've got at Gen Con with Jordan from Forgotten Realms Explained, we're going to be building 2 characters from American Gods. We'll be streaming from Gen Con and building those for you guys together, possibly as a panel, if we can make that a thing. I'm not really sure where we landed on that. I got to figure that out. But yeah, we'll be building Shadow and Mr. Wednesday. At least one. Probably Shadow will be the primary that we build, and if we have time or want to do a second stream, then we'll build Mr. Wednesday. But we're going to do that as a joint effort because that'll be fun, and we should do that. As you can see here, we're closing in towards the end of 2019 with what we've got planned out already. I may have missed something, so if you're watching this on YouTube or you've suggested something already and I missed it, please let me know. I also know Hawkeye is in here somewhere. I'm supposed to build Hawkeye. That was actually supposed to be a while ago. I'm going to add Hawkeye here at the end. So that's something. And again, I haven't checked the calendar, but I'm sure there are other times between here and the end of the year that we're not going to have it. So we had a couple planned trips here and things, but there's going to be some other ones, I'm sure. Right, like this is the day before the 4th of July. If the union at work goes on strike, some of these may get pushed out. You know, things like that. Somewhere in this area, I'm going to be a father for the second time. So depending on how that works out, there probably won't be a stream because new baby. Yeah, somewhere in like this time frame. So we'll see. But yeah, I will do my best to keep you guys on top of things. So if you do have suggestions for characters, please leave them in the chat or in the comments below the video. If you had asked me to do a character already and I didn't do it because I forgot it or you just got lost in the shuffle, please comment and tell me, hey Ted, you said you were going to do this character and you never did, and then I will add that character into the list. So we'll do that. All right. So with that, I think I want to say thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't, this is D&D Beyond. That's not what I wanted to do. If you haven't gone and seen the D&D Live, the Descent stuff that's happening so far, if you go over here and check this out, you can scroll down. So here's who's happening on the main stage throughout the year here, or the event. But if you look right here, so we don't have a link for some reason, which is unfortunate. But let's see, if we click on this, where is it? Oh, it takes you to their website. That's why. So this is going to be me, right here, this cocktail crew at 4 p.m. These are Pacific time. Oh, you did say Marcus the Centaur from Marvel Comics. I forgot. I want to add him. So anyway, this is me. I will be in this show right here with Renee from Fate and the Fable Maidens and a bunch of other folks. This was going to be the D&D Mixer group originally, because it's just a whole bunch of us from a bunch of different shows slapped together in one thing. We dubbed ourselves the Cocktail Crew, and that is what we're going to be playing. So if you go to twitch.tv/D&D Live 2, Sunday at 4 p.m., I will be streaming live from the event, but you can see a lot of other cool folks that are friends of the show. And there's some new stuff, and you can see all this. This is some stuff from last year where they did the whole big setup of Waterdeep. I'm ideally going to be in costume. I will be live tweeting from the event as much new stuff as I can as soon as it comes out. I'll also be bringing cameras and ideally filming B-roll footage of stuff happening behind the scenes. So be on the lookout for that as well. So anyway, all, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the love you guys have been showing us. We are so close to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. When we hit that number, I will be doing a massive, awesome giveaway, as I always do. I also will be doing a giveaway soon to try to get some new folks into D&D by giving away a bunch of starter sets. The base starter set that comes with Lost Minds of Phandelver, the newly printed errata base rules set, and also a set of dice as well. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.